Hi guys, this is gsnown.com and I'm here with a handset called the Allview X1 Soul. This one is an elegant flagship phone from the Romanian company Allview. It's a 5-inch Full HD handset that was launched in October. As you can see, it's pretty elegant. The price tag is $481, and you should know that this is a rebranded handset from China. It's Gionee Elife E6, just in case you're wondering. As far as the design goes, we're dealing with a solid unibody design, elegant one, with a pretty solid case. The internal chassis is magnesium, and the thickness of this model is 7.9 millimeters in thickness, and the weight of the handset is 129.4 grams. The handset uses a special lamination technology that allows it to have a reduced thickness. And now we're going to analyze its sides, see what we find. At the top we got the audio jack and on-off button right here. At the back we got a 13 megapixel camera with a LED flash and a microphone near it. Here the logo and some other details. And on the side we can find the SIM slot. You can see it right here, accessible with a special metallic key that opens up this tray. And here the volume buttons right here on this side. At the bottom we got the micro USB port and a microphone here, and two apparent speaker grills. Actually only the ones on the right are the speakers, the other ones are just for the sake of a better aspect. At the front we got the earpiece, the front camera, and the usual array of sensors here in this area. Also an LED right here in the corner. This camera is actually pretty good. It's a 5 megapixel camera for the front, which is pretty impressive. We've also got a bunch of capacitive buttons, as you can see below the display. The usual home, back and menu buttons available right here. Other things worth mentioning is the fact that the display has very small bezels, which is a compliment, making the design even more elegant on this handset. The build is very good. This is a very solid phone. I wouldn't drop it because it's not that cheap. The adherence is very good. We have very good grip, and you can even use it with a single hand. Even though it's a 5-incher, it's so well built that you can browse around the interface using a single hand and you won't have any problems with that. Okay, and one last mention, people have been wondering, is this metal, is this plastic? This is a case made of polycarbonate, just so you know. Moving on to the hardware. Unusual for Allview, this is a single SIM device. They usually sell dual SIM devices. The screen you see here is a 5-inch screen. It's a Full HD IPS screen, and it uses technology from Japan Display Inc. A new panel, by the way, new technology, and it looks stunning, as you can see. It's got Gorilla Glass 3 protection, and the CPU under the hood here is a quad-core MediaTek MT6589 processor. So MT6589. This one is a processor with a 1.5 GHz clock rate. It's a Cortex A7, and the GPU here is a PowerVR SGX 544. We also get 2 GB of RAM on this device, 32 GB of storage. There is no microSD here, so you have to deal with those 32 GB. And on the connectivity side we get Wi-Fi dual band, DLNA, Wi-Fi direct, and HSDPA with up to 21 Mbps speeds. Other things worth mentioning here are Bluetooth 4.0, obviously we got micro USB, we have a micro SIM card slot in case you're wondering, and a GPS. You can use this handset to perform a 3G video call. We have FM radio, and it even has HD voice capability. Inside it there's a Yamaha audio amplifier, so the audio is top notch. And talking about the cameras, we have a 13 megapixel camera at the back with LED flash, 5 megapixel front camera, G sensor, proximity sensor, brightness sensor, and a compass. As far as the battery goes, we have some screenshots to show you the evolution of the usage of the battery. But before we get started with that, I have to say that this is a lithium polymer 2000 mAh unit. It also comes with SDI technology, which means that the capacity is up to 30% bigger than on other batteries of the same size. You can see here that we went from 38% to 4% in about 1.5 hours of continuous video playback. And here we started at 98%, and here you can see it's 2 and 16, it's 99%. The playback video has started. It has continued in steps. We skipped to 79%, 75%, 46%, 42%, and we dropped and we dropped, and as you can see, after 3 hours and 21 minutes we've gone from about 97% to 33%, so that's the usage of the device. On paper, this handset should offer you 250 hours of standby, and I have to say that the standby time is impressive. I've been leaving this handset in standby for hours and it's not even losing 1%. As far as talk time goes, it should give you about 360 minutes of 2G talk. The charging time of the battery is about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And now back to our tests. Our tests involve full HD, or better said HD video playback on YouTube with 50% brightness, and that equals 5 hours of continuous usage. You saw earlier, in 3 hours we lost about 60% of the battery, and so in 5 hours you'll run out the whole battery playing video on YouTube in HD mode. If you are going to adopt normal usage, you probably get a bit over a day of normal use out of this phone, which is not bad considering we have a huge 5-inch screen that will drain the battery. We can also adapt the power consumption here. Go into the settings area, and there is a special power saving option. You got system power saving and you got custom power saving. You can enable here the conditions to trigger that, certain percentages, and the custom options, stuff to turn off, brightness, screen timeout and all that. And we can learn more about power saving here, so these modes of functioning are actually quite useful. As I said, a bit over a day of average usage or 5 continuous hours of video playback. Considering the CPU power here and everything, I say it's pretty reasonable. Another thing to look out for, so let's say you access the battery area. There's also an interesting CPU power saving mode that will limit the maximum CPU performance to conserve battery life and lower device temperature. Yet another good aspect to take into account when customizing the power usage of the device. Once again, pretty decent battery for such a big screen. Now, as far as the audio is concerned, let's access the music playing application. As you can see, we got a ton of songs here, and now we're going to select some of the music that doesn't bother the folks with copyright at YouTube. Okay, music right here, and let's listen to a tune. Okay, now some things that are worth mentioning. Although you see here 2 sets of speaker holes, only this one on the right is actually a speaker. This one is only for the purpose of cute design, so remember, a single speaker, but it actually handles playback pretty well. By the way, this handset, the Allview X1 Soul, comes with some very nice bundled headphones. This model reminds me of the headphones that came bundled with the HTC Beats Audio handsets, both in design and in bass, volume and comfort in the user's ears. So once again, very good earbuds that are bundled with the device. This handset comes with a Yamaha audio amplifier. The volume is pretty loud, the bass is good, the voice is clear and warm. And by the way, when you're watching movies on this device and listening the movies with headphones, you'll notice that the voices are very clear and very warm. Also, when you're handling the audio playback and you press play, there is a special DTS option. So this is the DTS option I was talking about. You can alter the focus, give it some bass boost, 3D effect, strengthen the volume, and handle the space reverberation that will be better felt in the headphones, and also increase the clarity. Some presets here like nature, surround, voice, default and standard. And that's all the customization you can get on the audio side. Once again, Yamaha audio amplifier and DTS system, both enhancements of the audio experience. So this is basically an evolved equalizer if you want a definition for it. This is an impressive audio even if we have a single speakers at the bottom of a phone. as I said, quite impressive, especially when it comes to the warm sound of the voice, pretty good bass, and reasonably loud volume. Now on the video side of things, I'm going to go to the gallery area, go back a bit, and gallery again, all files. We got a video for you, a special one that we use to test all devices. It's a colorful full HD sample taken with the iPhone 5s, and it can help us test the screen. We're dealing here with a display that uses Japanese technology, JDI technology. It's a 5-inch Full HD screen with a density of 440 ppi. It uses one glass solution technology, and it has a compact IPS panel with Gorilla Glass 3 protection. JDI is a company conglomerate formed by Sony, Toshiba and Hitachi, and this screen here offers wide viewing angles. As you can see, it's an IPS and viewing angles are excellent. The colors are actually pretty realistic. This screen is also bright. It achieves 280 lux units on white, which is about half of the HTC One, but we can complain about that at such a price. We got an RGB stripe pixel arrangement, and you should know that this screen doesn't handle the outdoor environments that well, so when you're playing some content and the sun will reflect on the screen, things won't be that great. This is what the screen looks like under a microscope if you're trying to see its pixels, and yet again on white it gets 280 lux units, and this is what the screen looks like on black. Okay, so it's reasonably bright. It doesn't handle outdoors that well. This screen uses a CABC system that will reduce the brightness depending on the image it outputs, which means lower consumption for the average user and better battery life. The screen is very good indoors, not so much outdoors, and the conclusion is that you can watch movies on it without feeling deprived of anything. Okay, now we move further to the camera. What we got here, as you can see, is a 13 megapixel sensor. This is an OmniVision OV12830 sensor. The technology here is BSI2, which means realistic colors and better capture speed. This camera actually uses 5 layers of anti-reflection glass, and it has an LED flash near it, as you can see. Now let's check out the user interface of the camera. Here we go. I'm going to use this castle right here, and this is the user interface I was talking about. We got a flash option right here at the top, and the main options right here on the left side. Okay, so first of all, we got capture mode with normal, panorama, MAV, which is basically a 3D shot of moving photo, eraser that removes things you don't want from a picture. For example, you're taking a picture of your girl, someone walks nearby, and you can remove that someone with eraser. Best face is available, and face beauty, and also best shot. Basically, it's a group photo where you can select the best face of the people in it, and also EV bracket shot that will allow you to take pictures with a variety of exposures. So as I said, with best face you choose the best face out of a group of people, and with best shot you choose the best shot out of a selection of photos. Okay, moving further, we got the capture action when you can use either normal capture by pressing this button, touch shot, you touch the screen, gesture shot, you do the victory sign in front of the camera and the picture will be taken, or smile shot, you smile at the camera, it senses your smile and takes a picture. Then the white balance with the usual option, then the color effects, and then a bunch of settings. As you can see, we have a lot of settings to toy with here. We got HDR, sound, phase detection, store location, scene modes, continuous shot up to 99 frames, exposure options here as well, self timer, saturation, brightness, contrast, picture size 13 megapixels, ISO up to 1600, anti-flicker, and you can assign functions to the volume keys if you want. Okay, and that's about everything you need to know as far as the options of the camera UI are concerned. It's important to also mention a bug here. As you can see, the picture size is 13 megapixels. Sometimes after taking a bunch of shots you'll be restricted to only using a VGA resolution. That happened to me twice up until now. This may be caused by the fact this is a mere sample version of the phone. And now let's actually take a picture of this castle. As you can see, not the fastest picture taking in the world, but pretty decent for the price of this device. Here's the picture result, not bad, yet again, for 13 megapixel camera or a reasonably priced flagship phone from Allview. Okay, now on the video area, let's see some of the options available here as well. We got white balance, bunch of effects, settings like video quality, you can go up to Full HD, store location, some exposure, scene modes, video duration, microphone option. We also have sharpness, hue, saturation, brightness, contrast, an audio mode with meeting and normal. So once again, an impressive amount of options available on this camera. This camera offers you an aperture f2.2, and by the way, the front camera shouldn't be neglected. It's a 5 megapixel front camera with an OV5648 OmniVision sensor. As I said, the camera is not exactly the fastest on the market right now, but it does its job pretty well, and it's not fast when it comes to focusing, not fast when it comes to picture taking, but as I said, does the job pretty well. I'm impressed by the number of functions available here, and now I'm going to stop with the UI and actually show you some samples that this camera took. Okay, so let's see what we got here. A variety of samples will also be shown to you in the full text review of the device. As you can see, everything is crisp and clear, no noise. And now let's address each sample one by one. For example, this picture, it was actually taken in a very dark hallway with the flash on, so pretty impressive. And that shot of a laptop, this one was taken indoors without a flash, and yet again reasonably impressive. We got a bunch of purple flowers in here. Here you can see very nice detail and very nice color, realistic color by the way. And then we have a close-up of some grapes around here. Here we go, yet again an impressive shot of this 13 megapixel camera, loads of detail, and no noise will be spotted even after zooming in quite a bunch of times. So the close-ups are also pretty good with this 13 megapixel camera. Okay, and then we got HDR. So we got this picture right here in a normal version, and this picture in the HDR version. You can see that it's very bright and the HDR is very good on this device. We also use it to take a panorama shot. Let's see where we put it. A whole variety of pictures here. You can see very vivid colors, very good use of the HDR. And here's the panorama, looking good. Obviously, if I'm not mistaken, this handset can take a panorama at up to 180 degrees. And don't worry about stabilization. We don't have stabilization on this device. This is the proof. Taking a video while walking, you can see everything jiggles because we don't have stabilization. The filming is taken pretty well actually. The image is crisp and the focus is good. Many modern phones, even the best one, the best brands, have problem focusing. Even Samsung devices had problems focusing. But this one offers a crisp image when filming, good focus. I would prefer that the encoding of the videos wasn't 3GP, but that's it. We get a very compressed image in a 3GP format. Overall, the camera is actually pretty good. I like the variety of features, I like the way HDR behaves, good panorama. This one makes me think a bit of the camera on the HTC One X and LG Optimus G, if you really want a comparison. This is a compliment for the phone Allview X1 Soul. So enough about the camera. Overall, we're content about this. Aside from that bug that I mentioned, it could only be a problem of this sample and this sample alone. Moving to the software area, well, let's see what OS we have here. It's Android 4.2.1 Jelly Bean, and getting past that, we're going to the browser. This is the virtual keyboard, standard one, quite comfy to use. And this is gsndom.com. You can see that the browser is reasonably fast and the screen is crisp enough to show you the news, even without having to zoom in on the text. By the way, if you do zoom in, it's very easy to do that. Pinch to zoom, and you can scroll without a problem. So the web browsing experience is very good on this handset. Moving even further, I must talk about the behavior of the device when really pushing it to the limit. So after playing 15 minutes of the game Riptide GP2, that really pushes the CPU, We made the device really hot, as you can see, 40.6 degrees Celsius. This temperature was achieved at the back, near the camera, to the right of the camera. It may cause some discomfort because you'll actually be placing your hand in that area, so discomfort will be felt, and this device tends to overheat just a little bit. Now I'm here to talk about the benchmarks as usual. Okay, so let's see how the X1 Soul handled Quadrant. In Quadrant we scored 4,717 points. We beat the Nexus 4 that scored about 4,000 points last time we tested it. We beat the LG Optimus 4X HD that scored 4,300 points, and Quadrant also shows us that we slightly beat the HTC One X, although from what I know the HTC One X can score more than this right now. In Antutu we scored 15,360 points. The HTC One X Plus scores 16,000, which is a compliment for this model, and the Huawei Ascend P6 scored 10,000, so we beat it by 5,000 points. By the way, the Nexus 4 scores also around 15,000. In Velamo, in the HTML5 test, we scored 1526, and the HTC One X scores 1600 points, LG Optimus 4X HD also 1600, and the Galaxy S3 1700, so pretty close to all of them, and all of them are hits. We move further with the benchmarks, and this is the Nenomark 2 result, 33.9 frames per second. This may be caused by the fact that we have a Full HD screen here. The Nexus 4 scores 57.7 frames per second, and the Asus Padfone 2, excuse me, scores 58 frames per second, so this model scores much less. As I said, it has a 5-inch Full HD screen, maybe that's why. This is the 3D Mark benchmark where we scored 3,679 points. The score is similar to the one of the Nexus 7 with the Tegra 3 CPU, and meanwhile the Galaxy Note 2 scores just a little bit over 3,000 points, so yet again a reasonable score. Finally, if you want to test the browser, we've got Browser Mark 2.0 where we scored 2,157 points. Meanwhile, the Galaxy Note 2 scores 2,200 points and the Galaxy S3 scored 2,100 points, so we're in the same range. Overall, the benchmarks were pretty good on this device. This is, by the way, a rebranded Gionee Elife E6 handset from China with the brand Allview on it. It has a quad-core Cortex A7 CPU, it's a MediaTek 1.5 GHz processor, and the results are in the range of the HTC One X and Galaxy Note 2 as far as benchmarks are concerned. If you want to place widgets on the screen, you can see they're not in the same area as the apps. You keep the screen pressed, and this is the widgets area where you can also find a bit of lag. Applications and shortcuts also available here, and by the way, if you want, you can change the theme of the device. Allview offers a bunch of pre-installed themes here. Some of them are really cute, like this one here. Some are associated to this model alone, like this one, X1 Soul Light, which is a brighter one, or this one with the darker one, X1 Soul. Each one with a pack of new icons, wallpapers and effects. Aside from the theme, you can also change the color and the effect. I mean the desktop switch effect, so if you jump from one screen to another, one home screen to another, you'll change this transition effect. Other than that, I have to say that there's just a bit of a delay when moving from one home screen to the other. And I just entered the game by mistake. So as I said, there's a millisecond delay when you see me going from one home screen to the other. This mini lag may tend to bother you, but I'm guessing that if you change the launcher and if you really clean up the memory, you'll be happy with the way this device works. Now if we go into the settings area, you'll see that let's see, here we go. In the display area we have a feature called Open Eyes that we can activate, and then there's a bunch of gestures to trigger here. That's why we entered this place, so we can show you those smart gestures. This handset, just like the better set Galaxy S3 rather than Galaxy S4, offers you a bunch of smart gestures like Smart Dial. So if you're in a message content page, you hold the phone to the face and you'll start dialing the number of the sender. There's Smart Answer. If the phone rings, you pick it up, place it to the ear, you answer the call automatically. And if the alarm starts ringing, you flick back the phone and pause the alarm. Then you can also answer or refuse the call by waving the hand up or down above the sensor, like shown in this animation. And then there's an interesting feature, smart pose control. So if you turn your face from the video playing screen, the video will actually stop, just like on the Galaxy S4, so some of the gestures feel familiar. We also have air browsing and controlling video progress. These two I actually want to show you in action. Keep in mind, these are not actually 100% foolproof, so you may actually not be able to perform them as you expected. Let's start with the video playback control. I'm going to try and move forward or backward in the video if possible. You must keep your hand at about 20 to 50 centimeters above the sensor. You can see it's not sensing the hand. So let's go back to the options. As I said, it's not totally foolproof, even though the setting is activated. As you can see, all of them are activated right now. Control video progress, air browsing, all of them activated. And the option from earlier, the open eyes option, is also activated. So on paper it should work, but in real life, well, not so much. You should now see a face of a human being here and some gestures for the hand control. But now let's try it in the gallery. As I said, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Now let's try it like this. It may be trying to also sense the eyes of the user, which may be the problem in this case. As you can see, it worked, but only for a little bit. The idea is to not get your hand very close to the screen. Okay, enough of the demo, you get the idea. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll move forward from here. This is the phone section, this is the dialer of the device, and in case you're wondering, we got very loud calls. I was very happy with the audio quality here. And then we move further to the apps area. Well, you don't actually find anything special. We find the usual array of applications that includes calendar, Gmail, Play Store. We also got Google Maps available here. By the way, this device also has FM radio. Let's enable the access to the location and find our spot on the map. This is the map experience on this Full HD 5-inch screen. Okay, going back to the app list, as I said, we also get FM radio on this device, and we also have a file explorer available here. Plus there's an app manager. This app manager allows you to move application, uninstall them, and toy with their settings. There's a privacy policy here for the application, and finally an option to clean the system cache and optimize the boot with a one-click clean option available here as well. And there's also a wireless input app allowing you to connect some mice to this device, among others. Continuing the list, we got Bitdefender, mobile security here, with the option to scan for malware, privacy advisor, web security, and all that. We got Office Suite for your productivity needs, Office Suite 7, that's the version here. You can also upgrade your app and register later. Okay, and we got a Torch app, obviously. We also have some notes if you like to quickly jot down something to remember for later. And this should be about it as far as the app list on this device is concerned. We also have voice search, a tunnel for some special apps, and that's about everything that Allview offers on this device. Now I like to speak just a little bit about the games on this handset. We played Revolt, Riptide GP2, and both of them worked perfectly on the Allview X1 Soul. However, Asphalt 7 tended to have a bit of lag, and GT Racing 2 wasn't compatible, and Rayman Fiesta Run also wasn't compatible. So some of the newer games will not be compatible with this model, but you can find a workaround if you truly want to play them. Okay, now it's time for the verdict concerning this model. This handset comes with a premium design, there is no arguing about that. You can see that the screen has very slim bezels We have a magnesium shell inside. We have a pretty good speaker right here. This is the only speaker of the device. The earbuds were actually impressive. We also have DTS audio technology. The battery is decent. The picture quality of the camera is good. The video is also pretty good. I like the fact that the camera offers many options to play with here. The display is also good. As far as the brightness is concerned, viewing angles are excellent. Colors are very good, so nothing to object here. As far as the multimedia goes, you're perfectly covered by this model. Now on the con side, the outdoor behavior of the screen is disappointing because the sun will reflect on the screen too much. There is that camera bug that I mentioned earlier, and there is a slight overheating, as I said, to the right of the camera. There is that slight interface lag that I mentioned, and the gestures don't feel like they work 100% yet. Plus there is the game compatibility issue. All of them are small issues, so the grades are pretty high for this model. We give the Allview X1 Soul a 9.5 out of 10 for design. It's slim, it's light, it has a small screen bezel, so a high grade 9.5 out of 10. A 9 for hardware, and a 9 for operating system and user interface, for a final grade of 9.16 out of 10 for this affordable high-end handset. This one is actually a pretty good buy for its price. We like the design especially, then the specs, and then the camera and screen that were reasonably impressive. This is gsm1.com. Hope you like this review, and this is the Allview X1 Soul with a grade of 9.16 out of 10. Bye bye.